Hi everybody, my name is Guy Bennett. I'm from the College of Kinesiology. Thanks for coming along to listen to my talk today. And my talk is called The Line in the Sand. The COVID-19 fiasco has drawn a line in the sand for planet Earth. That line's been there for a long time, but now it's visible. And for a lot of people, it's a huge relief that this thing's now apparent because it's divided the planet into two camps. For a long time, a lot of spiritual people have been talking about the shift from the fourth dimension to the fifth dimension, and that certain humans will be left behind in the fourth dimension while other humans will rise up into the fifth dimension. And the COVID-19 is really creating that schism between the two camps and the split in the parallel realities. The people staying in the fourth dimension are the people who see the virus as a personal threat to them. They see it as something outside of themselves attacking them as a type of attack. Obviously, viruses don't attack as such, they just infect because that's how they're designed. And they see it as life-threatening, something outside of them that they can't control. And as a consequence, they're frightened. Now, when you see an external threat as a reality, I see that as a form of superstition. Superstition, to me, means that the power is outside of me or outside of that group of people. And when the power is outside of you, you always look for a solution outside of you. And that could be in the form of enforcement of social distancing by police and the military. It could be in the form of a vaccine, a substance generated outside of you that's injected into your body. So when you see something as an external threat that you don't have any power over, then naturally you're going to look for an external solution. The second camp, the fifth dimensional people, the individuals rising up into the fifth dimension, will see it in a different way. They'll see the COVID-19 as more of a belief system, and they'll see it as a collective belief system that's fear-based. Now, that collective belief system that's fear-based only has power over them if they're externally referenced. If they internally reference and connect a source from within, then the external reality is largely inconsequential. So someone operating from a fifth dimensional paradigm where they believe source is accessed from within will look at the COVID-19 less as an external threat and more of as a shift on the planet that's triggering an internal opportunity within to grow and evolve. So from an immune perspective, someone operating in the fourth dimension will say, oh, I'm under threat, I need something externally to boost my immune system, so they're going to look for something like a vaccine to help them. In the fifth dimension, by contrast, we'll be looking for internal solutions. So we'll be looking at receiving kinesiology balances, etc., to enhance our immune system from within by releasing blockages and negative belief systems that may be programmed by the collective into the subconscious. So this is how the fifth dimension works. It doesn't really see anything generated outside of itself as real. All that's generated outside of the self is a reflection of what's happening inside the self. So then we control our own immune status and we evolve beyond the collective fear. So these are the two camps. Now, a word of warning for the fourth dimension. As soon as you let down the fence, so when I believe that there's something external outside of me that's threatening me, I bought into that illusion, and then I let down the fence for an external solution. So if I say, let a vaccine into my body, the vaccines aren't tested properly. It's quite likely there's all sorts of new hybrid DNA technology that's going to mess with our brains and shut parts of our nervous system down. We could be attracting negative energy forms. We could be attracting implants from aliens. We don't know what we're going to be stepping into when we let that fence down and inject that vaccine into our body. As soon as we do that, we don't have any control anymore. So the fifth dimension choose to operate from the spiritual vibration that's channeling in internally. Now that spiritual vibration is what's orientating us, which creates our defense. And another name for that spiritual vibration is sovereignty. So we're sovereign. That means everything that we experience is internally generated. Everything we experience is a manifestation of our internal state. And because we're part of the collective of humanity, we have to honor that and reflect that back into ourselves in order to grow and evolve beyond the external projections of the fear generations. So it's a time to question what camp are you in. And if you find yourselves slipping into the fourth dimension, but you probably prefer to be in the fifth dimension, then it's time to look at the internal fears within yourself that are being triggered by the external changes of the COVID-19 pandemic. So what I would suggest is tapping into internal technologies that you can do to clear the triggers inside yourself at a subconscious level. The kinesiology, which is what we teach and do, is very, very powerful for releasing those sorts of triggers so you become internally generated and not swept off with the collective fear consciousness. So for all of those who are ready, I invite you now into the fifth dimension, and I'm offering you the tools to let go of the negative paradigms that would cause you to be split at this time. You'll need to be on one side of the line, the fourth or fifth. It's a free will universe, so you choose.